This is Never Down, Never Out with T.R. Matson. This podcast is about discipline when motivation fades, resilience when things get hard, and showing up when quitting would be easier. No hype, no shortcuts, just the mindset required to build something real. One day at a time. Let's get into it. Welcome back, episode 34, Never Down, Never Out podcast. So we are in the heart of section 2, discipline, habits, and daily execution. Again, just want to thank everybody for following along, and I really appreciate the support. So I want to jump right into today because I think this topic is one that gets very easily confused, and I want to make sure that I have a clear, even though it might be a short episode, a clear point here and not just ramble on. So how to build habits that stick. This one, it can be tough, right? So we've identified the goals that we want to achieve or the dream that we have and things like that. And we've looked forward as to how to get there. We've done our research. But then a lot of times it's overwhelming, right? So if we use the example of being a pilot, it's like, yeah, I see an airplane fly. I want to be a pilot. Okay, this is my path to get there. And you tend to look at the big things like, well, for me, I got to join the Navy. I've got to get through flight school. I've got to learn how to land on an aircraft carrier. I've got to select an aircraft and then learn how to fly that aircraft. And then all of these things, like your mind starts racing. And I think it's very easy to get overwhelmed in that. And we waste time when we do that, right? So we spend so much time just focusing on the big stuff that we don't make the little steps that we need, right? So how do we build these habits? Being habitual about things has been very rewarding, successful. It's helped me out through my path, if you will, for anything I am. So we could talk about flying. I would study for a flight, study my memory items, study what we're going to do the next day, prepare for it, chair fly it, all the things. And then I would go fly it and I would assess how I did. And then I'd come back and I would start with the same things. And for me, when I'm in training for an aircraft, it doesn't matter if it was a T-37, T-44, T-45 in flight school, or the E-2 or F-18, or even the Airbus now at the airlines. When I'm in training for an aircraft, I treat it the exact same way. When I study for a module or a lesson or a flight, I always start with memory items. Those are the fundamental, right? That's the foundation, right? If you don't know your memory items on an aircraft, you don't know anything. So every study lesson I would study my memory items first. Okay, got those. Then I would look at what I did the previous day, what went well, what didn't go well. Okay, what can I change? Great. And then I would look at what we're going to do the next day. And when I was done with everything, I would study my memory items again, because in aviation, those are extremely critical. And I understand that's not necessarily the case with every goal, but that was just a habitual pattern that I would do every day, studying. And it didn't matter. It started in flight school. I still use it to this day. When it comes to things like writing, initially with trees in flight, I started out very kind of all over the place, didn't really have a clear goal. And then one of the best tips that I was given was, when you're done writing a chapter or section, whatever it is, write the next chapter. Just write a paragraph of it. That way, if you come back in a day, a week, a month, a year, it doesn't matter. You can just read that paragraph and your mind's going to go mostly back. Now, I mean, if it's a year, you're probably going to have to do a little bit more research as to what you've already written. But I would do that, and I still do that to this day. Just the other day, I was flying in the back as a passenger, and I was writing, and we were about to come in for the approach, and they were going to kill the Wi-Fi and all of the things that happened. And I wanted to write that first paragraph just so it would save and uplink. That way I knew where to pick up when I pick it up again. So that's a habit that I have built. These habits, though, they need to be easily, I want to say easily, but they need to be realistically achievable. That I think is the biggest problem, is when we try to build habits, whether it's I want to drink more water, or I want to eat better, or I want to work out more, or work towards my goal. If you come up with these, my new habit is I'm going to go run 10 miles in the morning before I get up. Hey, that sounds great, right? And when we have the motivation, when we're in that, we can use weight loss as an example. When we start with the motivation, right? It's like, I'm going to get in shape. This is the time. Yes. The next morning's always the easiest because you're pumped, right? You have all that motivation and you'll go out and you'll run or whatever you choose to do for a long time. What about the morning after that? What about the morning a week from now? Is it going to be something that fits into your day that can be a habit that you can continue? Because if it's not, then it's not a habit. And they say, hey, if you do something for 30 days, it becomes a habit. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, that's, 68% of all statistics are made up, right? So, I'm just kidding. The point I'm getting at is, for me to create habits, they have to be small and achievable, and they have to fit in to my day. And my day with kids and with airline life and writing and podcast and marriage and trying to still do some things for myself to keep my sanity, there's not a lot of time left. And if I don't have small achievable habits, then they're going to fall away. Like, they may last a week, they may last 2 weeks, but they're going to be gone. A couple habits I do to start my day is when I wake up, I make my bed. That's what I do. I've always done it. Well, maybe not always. I'd have to check on my folks, but my adult life, I've always done it. And part of that was derived with room inspections in the ROTC unit, and I wanted to have my room clean and ready to go. Some of it, if you've heard the stories about how I transitioned from my first year of college into Texas A&M and kind of got things together. I lived a very sloppy life prior to that, and then just cleaning my room was a habit that I created because it caused me to find clarity because things were put away. Clutter drives me nuts. So that's what I do every morning. Now, it doesn't matter if I'm home. It doesn't matter if my wife is still in bed. My side will be slightly made. It doesn't matter if I'm on the road in a hotel, and people laugh at that. They're like, "You make your bed in a hotel? Like, who cares?" And I'm not saying I'm making my bed to a level of like military inspection, but I make it to where it just looks neat and it helps that clutter in my mind. So I have found that helps. Some people look at things like, I want to do, we've talked about that first hour, right? I want to do something for me. I want to do something physical, something like that. We'll make it realistic, right? Because sometimes you have to get up early and you've got 10 minutes. Sometimes you have 2 hours. So let's come up with a habit that you can do regardless of the time. And if that's physical movement, maybe that's, 10 push-ups, 100 push-ups, 10 air squats, 100 air squats, whatever it is, something that doesn't take so much time out of your initial part of your day that you can't achieve it. Because as soon as you skip a day, you are now on that slope to where that habit could be gone. And this is where I don't buy into the 30 days because I've had plenty of habits that I do and they just kind of fall away, as life changes. So if it's something you really want to stick to, it's got to be something that every day you have the time to do it at a certain time of the day. And if you can keep that repeatable pattern, now you have a chance at that habit. So as you sit there and we look today at our goals, we look today at what we're working towards. Again, like I've said before, maybe you want to start a new career. Maybe that's becoming a pilot. Maybe you want to write. Maybe you want to mend relationships. All of these things, think of something that works every day. Relationships take work, whether that's a friendship or a romantic relationship or whatever it is. Maybe that goal is sending one text just to see. You had a long time friend and you've drifted apart. Hey, I'm just gonna once a week or once a day just shoot a text. Hey, how's everything going? Things like that. That is a small achievable thing that could become a habit, which could build a relationship back if that's what you're shooting for. But the key, I think, and this is the most important part of this, is when we're in that motivation phase where we want to change something about us or achieve something about us, it's important to not get caught up in the motivation when you're trying to come up with what your habits are going to be. And that's tough to do. It's hard for me too. I mean, I wanted eventually to start a podcast, and it was like, I'm all in on everything. How do I do everything? Okay, I need editing and this and that and setup and lighting and and I'm like, hold on a second. Keep it simple, right? There was if you're listening and you're in the military, you're probably familiar with KISS, keep it simple, stupid. We use that a lot in the military. And that is a lot of this too. This goes to building habits. Is we don't need things that are going to take and change our life right now. We need things that we could use as building blocks to change our life down the line. If you struggle with clutter or cleaning your space or whatever, one of the habits, because I did that, is I've gotten in the habit, if I make myself a meal, I clean up before I eat. Sounds ridiculous maybe to some, but I do, because then when I'm done eating, I don't have a bunch of dirty dishes. That's not a huge thing. That didn't change my life that day when I started doing it, but it's helped me keep clutter out of my life now, and I don't even think about it. So we need to sit down today. We need to take a look at what your goal is, what you've been working on. You know, if you started with me back in episode 1, what you've been working on for the last month, and what habits we can build to structure your day a little bit more. Because it is so easy to get caught up in the grind of things where you get up, you have some breakfast, you go to work, you sit at work all day, you waste a ton of time, valuable time. Then you come home, you're burnt out from work. So you sit on the couch, you watch TV, or you play video games, or you scroll the internet, and then it's time for bed. And you repeat this. And if you do this too much, it's so easy to lose a day, a week, a month, a year. And you're a year from now and you're sitting in the exact same spot you are now, wanting to achieve something. To break that cycle is all these little things that we have to do. So whether it is truly 30 days to break a habit or to build a habit, or it's shorter than that, I'm not sure. Regardless of what it is, I think you are far more successful if the habits that you try to interject into your life are small. So maybe you're trying to do new things. Maybe you're trying to do grandiose things. And that's fine. But make sure that you're still adding the little things. If you can do that, I think you got a chance. If you don't, you have to take a look back on your life. And the older we get, the easier this is, because there's more to look back on, and go, okay, where was I successful and where was I a failure at things? And it's okay to fail at things, but why did I fail? Well, I failed at becoming a runner because I went out and ran 10 miles on day 1. And then on day 2, I tried to run 5 miles. And on day 3, I couldn't walk. Well, maybe it would have been smarter to walk on day 1 and then do a walk run on day 2. So let's apply that theory to the rest of our lives. And I think if we do that, we have a chance. So don't beat yourself up. We're often very hard on ourselves. We want to fix everything today. We're fired up. And this is a marathon, not a sprint. That's something I look at with all this, right? I mean, when I sat here on a podcast and had this ridiculous idea of I was going to upload 365 podcasts in 1 year, that's a lot, right? And I mean, I have my notes and I have topics and I have all these things, but it's like, whew, that's a lot of stuff to put down and to get done. And instead of looking 365 days in the future, I said, okay, what do I have to do to record 1? Okay, let's do that. And then learn from that. Okay, do I have enough energy to record another one tomorrow? I do. Okay, let's do that. And let's just slowly go through this and take small bites of that giant sandwich, and eventually we'll get through it and we'll be better for it on the other end. If I went in and I was like, I am just going to record 365 videos as quickly as I can and then just upload them, everybody who listens to it would have seen and heard it. It would have become garbage eventually because I would have just been saying the same stuff. So you need to just think of this as a marathon and not a sprint. What little things can we do repeatedly every day that drive us towards our goal? And if we do that, we have a chance. So I appreciate all the support, as I always say. I try to keep these short and sweet. I know sometimes I soapbox more than others, but we're in the grind phase now. This is the time where we really just have to keep showing up every day and building those habits that will help us show up tomorrow. I believe in you, and I know you can do this. Thanks for tuning in. If this episode helped you, don't just listen, apply it. Progress is built in what you do after the message ends. Remember, never down, never out. I'll see you tomorrow.